How often do you feel trapped, not by your circumstances, but by your own mind? In 2024, I found myself stuck in a loop of overthinking, resentment, and self-doubt. I had this endless to-do list, striving for a version of freedom that I thought existed in material success or the validation of others. But no matter how hard I worked or how much I achieved, I felt more trapped than ever. That's when I stumbled upon the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. His timeless wisdom taught me one thing: true freedom isn't something you gain, it's something you uncover by letting go of the things weighing you down. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. 10 things you must let go of in 2025 to unlock a life of clarity, peace, and true freedom. Trust me, stick with this video, and by the end, you'll have the tools to embrace a mindset that could change your life. First, letting go of control over external events. Let's start with something Marcus Aurelius hammered home throughout his life. You can't control external events, only how you respond to them. Think about it. How much energy have you wasted trying to bend the world to your will? Whether it's agonizing over a bad boss, frustrating family dynamics, or unpredictable traffic jams, the truth is simple. None of it is under your control. Marcus Aurelius puts it plainly in Meditations. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoics believed that freedom begins when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, they teach us to focus on what's within our power, our thoughts, decisions, and actions. Picture this. You're standing in the middle of a storm. You can't stop the rain, the wind, or the lightning, but you can decide whether you'll panic, fight the storm, or simply pull out an umbrella and keep walking. That's what Marcus Aurelius taught. Life will throw storms your way, but your inner peace doesn't have to be shaken. Take a moment to reflect. How much time do you spend stressing over things you can't control? What if, in 2025, you shifted that energy into mastering your own thoughts and reactions instead? Second, letting go of the fear of death. Here's something no one likes to talk about, but can set you free: the fear of death. Marcus Aurelius had a fascinating perspective on mortality. Instead of fearing it, he embraced it as a natural part of life. He wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." This philosophy is rooted in the Stoic practice of memento mori, remembering that you will die. It's not meant to be morbid, it's meant to sharpen your focus on what truly matters. When you stop fearing death, you start living with intention. Let me ask you, if you knew you only had a year left, how would your priorities change? What would you stop doing? Who would you spend time with? The fear of death keeps us clinging to trivial things, whether it's material possessions or pointless grudges. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that when we make peace with our mortality, we can finally experience the freedom to live fully, without hesitation or regret. Third, letting go of anger and resentment. Anger is one of the heaviest chains we carry, yet Marcus Aurelius had a profound way of reframing it. He believed that anger doesn't harm the person you're angry at, it only hurts you. In Meditations, he wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Think about that. Every time we let anger take hold of us, we allow someone else's actions to dictate our emotions. But here's the truth. Anger often stems from unrealistic expectations of others. Marcus reminded himself daily that people are flawed, that they make mistakes, and that their actions are often driven by ignorance or fear. He encouraged compassion, saying, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil. What if in 2025 you let go of anger by choosing understanding instead? When someone cuts you off in traffic or a colleague speaks rudely, instead of spiraling into resentment, remind yourself, their behavior is about them, not you. By letting go of anger, you free yourself from the emotional chains that keep you stuck in the past. Fourth, letting go of the need for constant validation. Here's a tough one. How often do you check your phone for likes, comments, or messages to feel good about yourself? It's a habit that's hard to break, especially in the age of social media. But Marcus Aurelius taught a liberating truth. Your self-worth doesn't depend on what others think of you. In Meditations, he said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own. When you seek validation from others, you give away your power. You allow their fleeting opinions to shape how you feel about yourself." But Marcus Aurelius, as an emperor, faced constant judgment from senators, soldiers, and citizens, and yet he stayed grounded in his values. He focused on living a virtuous life, not on winning approval. So, how can you practice this in 2025? Start by asking yourself, are you doing things because they align with your values or because you want applause? Shift your focus inward. When you stop chasing validation, you'll realize that true freedom lies in knowing you're enough, regardless of what others think. Fifth, letting go of attachment to material possessions. In a consumer-driven world, this might be one of the hardest lessons to embrace. Everywhere you look, you're told that happiness lies in owning more. More clothes, more gadgets, more status symbols. But Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in the world, rejected this idea. He understood that material possessions are fleeting and often bring more stress than satisfaction. He wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." What he's saying here is simple. Contentment comes from appreciating what you already have, not chasing what you don't. Imagine this. What if everything you owned suddenly disappeared? Your home, your car, your clothes. It's a sobering thought, but Marcus Aurelius teaches us that true freedom comes from knowing that your peace doesn't depend on these things. In 2025, instead of accumulating more, practice gratitude for the essentials. You'll find that letting go of attachment to material possessions clears the way for inner peace. 6. Letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism is often disguised as ambition, but in reality, it's a fear-driven trap that paralyzes us. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He believed that the pursuit of perfection often blinds us to the beauty of imperfection. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The message here? Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect version of yourself to take action. Life is messy, and so are we. Marcus Aurelius didn't expect himself to be perfect. Instead, he focused on progress, on showing up each day and doing his best, even when circumstances weren't ideal. If you're constantly striving for perfection, ask yourself, what are you afraid of? Is it the fear of failure? The fear of judgment? In 2025, let go of the need to be perfect and embrace the idea that progress, no matter how small, is what truly matters. By doing so, you'll find the freedom to live boldly without the weight of impossible standards. 7. Letting go of toxic relationships. Here's a tough pill to swallow. Not everyone deserves a place in your life. Marcus Aurelius believed strongly in surrounding yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. He said, The people who are not ashamed of what is good will neither do nor tolerate evil. If you can find such a group, embrace them. If not, try to improve those around you. But if you fail at that, turn to yourself and walk alone. Toxic relationships, whether with friends, family, or colleagues, drain your energy and keep you stuck in negativity. But walking away is easier said than done, right? It often comes with guilt, fear, and uncertainty. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, though, that letting go of toxic influences is an act of self-respect. In 2025, take inventory of the people in your life. Are they helping you grow, or are they pulling you down? If it's the latter, have the courage to step away. True freedom comes from surrounding yourself with people who reflect the values and peace you strive for. 8. Letting go of the past. How much of your mental energy is spent replaying the past? Whether it's regrets, failures, or missed opportunities, holding on to the past is like carrying a backpack filled with rocks. It weighs you down and stops you from moving forward. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. He wrote, "Forget everything else. Keep hold of this alone and remember it. Each of us lives only now, this brief instant." The Stoics emphasized the importance of living in the present moment because the past is unchangeable. Clinging to it only robs you of the peace you could experience now. In 2025, commit to letting go of the past. When those old memories resurface, ask yourself, is holding on to this serving me, or is it keeping me stuck? By releasing the past, you'll open yourself to the infinite possibilities of the present. 9. Letting go of worry about the future. If you've ever lost sleep worrying about what might happen tomorrow, you're not alone. We all tend to project our fears and anxieties into the future, but Marcus Aurelius, in all his wisdom, reminds us that this is a futile exercise. He wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." The Stoics teach us that the future is uncertain and beyond our control. By worrying about it, we're simply borrowing stress from a moment that hasn't even arrived yet. Imagine you're carrying two heavy buckets. One represents the past, and the other represents the future. If you insist on holding both, you'll never have the strength to move forward. So, what's the alternative? Focus on the present. Marcus Aurelius believed that by living fully in the moment, you equip yourself to handle the future when it becomes the present. In 2025, challenge yourself to let go of future worries by asking, what can I do today to prepare for tomorrow? Small actions, rooted in the here and now, are far more effective than endless speculation. 10th, letting go of complaints. Let's face it, complaining can feel oddly satisfying in the moment. But have you ever noticed how it drains your energy and achieves nothing? Marcus Aurelius saw complaining as one of the biggest obstacles to inner peace. He said, "Do not be overheard complaining, not even to yourself." This doesn't mean you have to ignore challenges or pretend everything is fine. Instead, the Stoic approach is about channeling your energy into solutions rather than grievances. Marcus believed that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. If something isn't going your way, ask yourself, how can I adapt? How can I improve the situation instead of lamenting it? For example, let's say your workload feels overwhelming. Instead of complaining, take a Stoic approach. Prioritize, delegate, or simplify. Complaining changes nothing, but action does. In 2025, practice replacing every complaint with a constructive thought or action. Over time, you'll find that this mindset shift brings you closer to the freedom and peace Marcus Aurelius described. 11th, letting go of the desire to please everyone. Here's a hard truth. No matter how kind, accommodating, or agreeable you are, not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Marcus Aurelius urged us to let go of this exhausting need to please everyone. He wrote, "Be satisfied with your actions. When they conform to your nature, do not care what others say." Think about how much time and energy you waste trying to win approval from colleagues, friends, even strangers on social media. It's a never-ending cycle that only pulls you further away from your authentic self. Instead, Marcus taught that the only person you truly need to please is yourself, as long as your actions align with your values. In 2025, ask yourself, are my actions guided by my own principles, or am I living to meet the expectations of others? Letting go of people-pleasing isn't selfish, it's an act of self-respect. When you stop living for others, you create space to live fully and freely for yourself. 12th, letting go of procrastination. Procrastination is the thief of time, and Marcus Aurelius had no patience for it. In Meditations, he wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't meant to be alarming, but rather a call to action. Life is fleeting, and every moment you spend putting things off is a moment lost forever. Procrastination often stems from fear of failure, fear of judgment, or even fear of success. But Marcus Aurelius believed that action, no matter how imperfect, is always better than hesitation. He encouraged breaking tasks down into manageable steps and starting immediately, without overthinking. Imagine you've been procrastinating on a big decision, starting a business, ending a toxic relationship, or pursuing a passion project. What if, in 2025, you adopted Marcus Aurelius' mindset? Instead of focusing on the enormity of the task, take the first step. Remember, what stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacles you face aren't there to stop you, they're there to guide you. 13th, letting go of blame. Blame is a seductive trap. It feels easier to point fingers at others, your boss, your upbringing, the government, than to take responsibility for your own life. But Marcus Aurelius believed that true freedom comes from owning your actions and reactions. He wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion. There is never a need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control." Blame keeps you stuck because it gives away your power. If everything is someone else's fault, then you have no agency to change your situation. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to focus instead on what we can control, our own behavior and mindset. In 2025, practice radical accountability. The next time you're tempted to blame someone else, pause and ask, what role did I play in this situation? What can I do to improve it? By letting go of blame, you'll reclaim your power and take charge of your own life. 14th, letting go of self-doubt. If there's one thing holding you back from true freedom, it's likely self-doubt, that inner voice that whispers, "You're not good enough," or "You're going to fail." Marcus Aurelius had no time for these thoughts. He reminded himself daily of his inner strength, writing, "You have within you a piece of the gods. Why do you degrade yourself?" Self-doubt often stems from comparing yourself to others or focusing too much on external validation. But Marcus Aurelius believed that every person is capable of greatness as long as they act in alignment with their principles. He urged us to trust our instincts and take action, even when confidence feels out of reach. In 2025, let go of self-doubt by reminding yourself of what you've already overcome. Every challenge you've faced, every fear you've conquered, has prepared you for this moment. You are stronger than you think. The only thing standing between you and your goals is the courage to start. 15th, letting go of negative self-talk. Have you ever stopped to really listen to how you talk to yourself? The inner critic is often crueler than any external voice could ever be. Marcus Aurelius understood the power of our inner dialogue, writing, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Negative self-talk, phrases like, "I'm not smart enough," or "I always mess up," is a habit that reinforces self-doubt and limits your potential. But here's the truth. These thoughts are not facts. They're stories you've told yourself over time. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to challenge these stories and replace them with rational, empowering thoughts. For example, instead of saying, "I'm terrible at this," try reframing it as, "I'm learning, and every mistake is a step toward growth." In 2025, commit to treating yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you'd offer a friend. By letting go of negative self-talk, you'll create space for confidence, resilience, and inner freedom. 16th, letting go of comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a trap that steals joy and fuels insecurity. In a world dominated by social media, it's easy to fall into the cycle of comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. But Marcus Aurelius had a different perspective. He said, "Don't waste the rest of your time here worrying about other people, unless it affects the common good. It will keep you from doing anything useful." The Stoics believed that comparison distracts us from our own unique path. Your journey is yours alone, shaped by your experiences, values, and aspirations. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that true freedom comes from focusing on our own progress, not someone else's. In 2025, whenever you feel the urge to compare, pause and ask yourself, "What am I grateful for in my own life?" Shift your focus from what others have to what you're building for yourself. Remember, your only competition is the person you were yesterday. 17th, letting go of overthinking. How often do you find yourself paralyzed by overthinking? It starts with a simple decision, what to wear, what to say, or which project to prioritize, and spirals into a mental tug-of-war. Marcus Aurelius believed that overthinking is one of the greatest barriers to action. He wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Let this be your guiding principle." The Stoics valued simplicity and clarity. Overthinking often comes from fear of making the wrong choice, but Marcus Aurelius teaches us to focus on what aligns with our values. Make a decision, and then trust yourself to handle the outcome, whether it's good or bad. In 2025, try practicing mindfulness when you feel yourself overthinking. Take a deep breath and ask, "What's the next small step I can take?" By letting go of the need to analyze every possible outcome, you'll free yourself to take action and move forward. 18th, letting go of the fear of failure. Failure, it's something we all dread, yet it's an unavoidable part of life. But what if failure wasn't the enemy? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." To the Stoics, failure was simply feedback, a chance to learn and grow. Think about the people you admire most. Did they achieve success without stumbling along the way? Of course not. Failure is often the gateway to resilience and innovation. Marcus Aurelius understood that fearing failure only holds us back from trying. He encouraged embracing challenges with courage and curiosity. In 2025, when you face setbacks, remind yourself, this isn't the end, it's just part of the process. Instead of avoiding failure, lean into it. Ask, what can I learn from this? By reframing failure as a stepping stone, you'll find the courage to pursue your goals without hesitation. 19th, letting go of the illusion of control. Here's the ultimate truth Marcus Aurelius invites us to accept. We are not in control of most things in life. The weather, other people's opinions, the twists and turns of fate, none of these are within our power. And yet, we cling to the illusion of control, often leading to frustration and disappointment. In Meditations, Marcus wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This is a reminder that while we can't control the external world, we can control our mindset. The more we align ourselves with this truth, the freer we become. Imagine a sailor trying to control the wind. It's impossible, but by adjusting the sails, they can navigate the storm. In 2025, focus on adjusting your sails. Let go of trying to control what's outside your influence and pour your energy into your thoughts, actions, and values. That's where your true freedom lies. 20. Letting go of expectations. Finally, let's talk about expectations, the silent thief of joy. How many times have you been disappointed, not because of what happened, but because reality didn't match your expectations? Marcus Aurelius warned against this trap, writing, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." The Stoics teach us to approach life with flexibility, accepting things as they are rather than as we wish them to be. Expectations often lead to unnecessary suffering because they set us up for disappointment. In 2025, practice letting go of rigid expectations. Instead of asking, "Why isn't this going the way I planned?" ask, "How can I adapt to this situation?" By releasing expectations, you'll free yourself to embrace life as it unfolds. Messy, unpredictable, and beautiful. So, there you have it, 10 things you must let go of in 2025 to find true freedom. Imagine a year where you're no longer weighed down by anger, doubt, or the fear of failure. A year where you focus only on what you can control, embrace the present moment, and live authentically. Marcus Aurelius' wisdom has stood the test of time for a reason. It's a reminder that true freedom isn't about changing the world around you. It's about transforming the world within you. If you found value in this video and feel inspired to apply these Stoic lessons to your life, don't keep this journey to yourself. Hit that like button, share this video with a friend who needs a fresh start in 2025, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more insights on Stoicism, personal growth, and living with purpose. What's the first thing you're letting go of this year? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember, you have the power to create the life you deserve. One moment, one mindset, and one decision at a time. See you in the next video.